Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Piratech Slippy Tsunami. What do you mean, tsunami? You mean the Kraken? What's wrong with you? You having a stroke, Metal Complex? No. No, they changed the name. I don't know what the falling out was, but they apparently had to change the name of the Kraken or whatever to Tsunami. So that's what this is called. This is actually a really cool slip joint. Actually, some people will label it as incredibly gimmicky and pointless, and other people will say that's the coolest thing I've ever seen, or maybe anything in between. I don't know. I lean on the cool side of this. It's still a pretty expensive object, but it's also a really premium object. So depending on how you look at it, you may or may not agree with the price tag. Either way, it's available. I'll link it down below. It does help my channel and use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to Piratech for sending this in for me to take a look at. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Let's go ahead, because this does have a special thing to it. It's pretty cool. If you didn't see my unboxing, sorry, I will get to it. It has a really, really cool feature. Let's do specs. Overall length of the Slippy Tsunami, 6.75 inches. Blade length, 2.85 inches, cutting edge 2.75 inches. How about some size comparisons? Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others up against the 8010. My own Excalibur, you can see here it is on the smaller side, but still not a tiny knife. No, just a smaller knife. Let's put it up against the Benjamin Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca. And then finally, the Spyderco PM2. Where are you? There you are, Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. How's the action? Well, it's a slip joint. So something I like about it is we have not a 90-degree stop, but it's up here. It's angled upward. Why is that nice? Because if you go to disengage your knife like this, I don't know about you, the number of times I've done that with a slip joint that has a mid-stop or half-stop, I've cut myself right here. This doesn't do that. It stops at an angle. I do like that. And then with some more force, it snaps down into the closed position, right? This is not, to me, it's not a very enjoyable experience, but it's the nature of the beast with stuff like this. The cool feature of this guy, if you're not familiar with Piratech knives, they like magnets. So this scale can be lifted off simply by putting your fingernail underneath there. Now, how likely is it that those scales are going to come off during use, right? I don't think very likely. Honestly, like, I mean, maybe if you drop it from like super high, but like I'm being pretty rough with it and they're staying on there, right? Bread is pretty circumstantial. They seem to stay on there. This, oops, that's the wrong side. Obviously, you pull those off to adjust the heads here, right? But this little pin that has the octopus on it, or the Kraken, which, it sucks they designed their logo around that. Now they have to be like, no, we're called Tsunami. You pull this pin out of there, and there's 3 holes, and each of these holes will increase the tension. This is a cool idea. I'm going to tell you right now, it's almost impossible to pull the thing out having it in this position. It's still pretty hard in this position, and in the lowest tension setting, which is what it comes with, I think. Maybe it's the middle one. I can't remember. It's doable, but it's still pretty hard. Honestly, I think you guys probably should... This should have been the middle tension, and then you should have had one lower. But it is really neat. And also, if you're thinking, what if I lose that? You might. They send another one, so that's pretty cool. That's neat, and that's that thing that's like, some people look at that and say, oh, that's gimmicky. Some people be like, oh, that's awesome, right? A lot of this, I think, could be remedied by having an easier way to pull the knot. Like, it's a nail nick that's part of the harpoon notch. It's okay. It feels like a small space to... I don't feel super secure on it, and it takes quite a bit of force to release that blade. So it's all right. The system itself is cool. It just doesn't feel spectacular pulling the blade out, but it's far from bad, right? It might be a deal breaker for some people. It wouldn't be for me. I just think it can be improved upon. Let's do carry profile. Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. So it's pretty thick. It's a titanium and then the micarta scales on top of it. Let's do length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. Obviously, this is a small knife. It does come with a slip. I just prefer these have pocket clips. Like, that's fine. Make the clip removable and then add that, like, just 2 holes in a pocket clip. I don't want to carry a knife like this. Maybe you do. I don't. So yeah, but it is an easy object to put in your pocket. It's not very big. We can do a hardware check real quick. Let's get out my tools. As per usual, my tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. Obviously, it's very, very easy to access underneath the scale so that you can, get to the pivot and everything. So this is a T8. All of these are T8. So yeah, and just keep in mind, just like you saw there, that will just fall out. So if you have like this laying out and you're like messing with it and you put it back down, you forget about it, right? And for some reason you pick it up like this, you might go to put the scale back on and, not realize that it's not in there. How does this operate with the pin not in there at all? Well, I suppose that is their 4th setting, right? So you don't have to have the pin in there, and that does make it easier. I don't know if I keep telling myself I've got to have it in there. Just making sure that it actually is different. Yeah, it is. You don't have to have it in there. There technically are 4 settings. You don't have to have it in there. Truthfully, I've had it in there this whole time. Truthfully, this is probably the most preferred way. Right? If you're just crazy and you're like, I love the idea of ripping my fingernails off while I'm deploying my knife, put it up here, right? Pretty much the same for the middle setting. And then like, if you just, want it like a little more tension, this is fine. But it doesn't have to be in there. It's probably the easiest like this. I think a nail nick in a different location that's a little easier to get at would make that tension, the higher tension, settings more satisfying and more, because it's almost the fact that the way that I'm going to recommend using this is without the pin at all. It just kind of negates the purpose of it. But that is subjective. Some people just want a little more. So I don't know. It depends on how you think. But for the remainder of the review, I'm going to keep that out of there. But yeah, it's T8. And if you really want to take it apart, you can. As long as you have the right tools for the job, should be good to go. Materials, we have micarta and a lot of titanium. It's so funny to me. There's enough titanium here that, like, if this was like a tiny frame lock, like there's enough titanium here for it to be like a titanium frame lock with no micarta. For some reason, some people look at this and they go, "That's just micarta," so they judge it as like a super thin titanium liner knife with micarta. This is essentially a full titanium knife. So we judge, like, the presence of micarta doesn't like add or decrease cost or anything like that. It's quite a bit of titanium. And we have S90V, which they have the specific HRC on, 61.3. That's awesome for 2 reasons. Number 1, that's crazy for S90V. This thing is insane. Edge retention off the charts. Number 2, they tell you the exact HRC for every single knife. That means they're individually testing each of these things. That's a big deal. Not many companies will do that. I think that's awesome. So, pretty cool. Titanium, micarta, S90V, some steel, a couple little magnets. I'm going to guess that this weighs like 3.5 ounces. No, it weighs 2.9 ounces. Okay, so it's really, pretty good ratios, honestly. As far as the balance is way back here, but it's a 3-ounce object, so I don't really care too much. Let's measure the blade stock thickness here real quick and move on into the meat and potatoes. Whoops-a-daisy here. Hold on now. Hold on. 108,000, so it's pretty darn thin. Okay. These knives are made in China, right? A lot of people, as soon as it's the classification of knife is slip joint, they're just like, oh, reduction in value. That's not how that works, right? It's not like you can, like, obviously there are locking systems that can cost more, but this is a Chinese production knife. We're utilizing S90V. We're utilizing a unique magnetic system and tension tuning system, which is probably not cheap to implement perfectly on every single knife, right? It's a smaller knife. It's got micarta. and it's a slip joint. That's what people are going to look at and go, oh, well, then it can't cost very much money. You can still make that and make it. It depends, right? It's just what it comes down to is it for you, right? I want people to keep that in mind. What I like about this knife is ergonomically, it's incredibly comfortable. I do not know why they put jimping up here on the blade. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't lock. I don't even think we should tempt people into it. My brain goes, ooh, jimping, I got to push there, right? Don't do that. But even if you do, it's got that stop right there. So that's good. The blade is hollow ground. Super thin. I mean, pretty darn thin. I'll let you guys look at the plunge guide too while we're here. Pretty darn thin, hollow ground S90V harpoon blade. This is a good looking little knife. Really good looking. So yeah, as long as you use it to cut, you don't do anything else with it, it's going to cut. It's going to be a long, long time, because given that this is a slip joint, you'll use it for even less stuff than you would a typical locking folding knife. This thing should absolutely be dedicated to cutting and only cutting, and it will be forever before you have to resharpen it. When you do, it might be a little tough. S90V at 61.3. If you have the diamond stones, that'll make it easier for sure. You know, it'll change it from almost impossible to possible. So that's what I'd recommend. I do like the tuning system. I just think that it needs to be evolved a little bit. It needs to work perfectly. You need to have like a nail nick or a means of, you know, pulling a knife out that is like sort of makes the user feel more confident. I don't feel super confident on that nail nick, just the position and how small it is. But something that makes the user feel more confident. And then there should be, I think the highest tension setting should still be dialed back a bit. I think the highest tension setting should probably be the medium one on this. And then you have one below that, and then none. It's anywhere from high tension to essentially very, very little tension. And then, you know, making sure that the user feels confident pulling the blade out. And then there's a lot more, because like I feel like the way that this is set up, the vast majority of people who buy this will go, I'm just going to take that pin out of there, right? Because that's like, for me, that is the easiest and, you know, most reliable way to do that, where I don't feel like I'm going to like slip or break my fingernail off, right? So, but it is a cool idea. I like the idea. I'm glad they implemented it. These things, like these scales here, when they set, they still have a slight amount of play. Like I can still like squeeze. I don't know what is causing them to not sit perfectly, but you can hear it. Like I want them to be solid in there, right? And up and down, they're fine, but like maybe it's just because we still have to have like a position here. That's probably it. It's because we have to be able to get under there, right? I just wish they felt a little more solid, but that's kind of an unreasonable complaint, to be honest. Ergonomically, yeah, like holding this knife and just cutting with it, I'm always tempted to have my thumb up here, but just cutting or, you know, cutting into a box or something, it does a really great job. And it's such a cool, stylish looking blade with nothing on the blade itself and nothing on the scales. It's completely and totally clean. It's only right here that it says S90V. So there is no lanyard hole. Big miss on no pocket clip. At least mill something, like just like maybe slotted, right? What do we have a screw right there? Yeah, we got a screw right there. Just slot something. That way you're not taken away from the aesthetic, right? Where there's no, because this can cover that up, the screw holes. 2 little slots right here and just have a slotted symmetrical pocket clip. That way, people who want to use a pocket clip and are right or left-handed, because it's, you know, it's a slip joint, same either way, then we can use that pocket clip. And then people who don't, they want to use a slip, they want it to look like a slip joint, no screw holes out here. Fine, this covers it up. I just really think that should have been the case. I think this is really cool. We just need a Slippy Tsunami 2.0. Like, that's what we need. Really cool idea. You expand on it, improve some things. I think a version 2, you could take this idea and make it essentially perfect. That's legitimately, I think. Everything else is like, I mean, the fit and finish is awesome. It's Piratech. They do a great job. HRC thing's really good. This is a $265 knife. Is that price justifiable? It's a lot of premium material, right? Again, a lot of people are going to say just simply, never mind all of the other elements here that go into the cost. Simply because it is a slip joint, it can't cost that much, and that's just wrong. It can be a personal value system, and you do not value that. That's fine, but it's not. We can't just say universally that that's how that was not true at all. I think this is cool. If you want to pick this up and you're okay with the elements here, I don't hate the price tag. Kind of wish it was a little less, but I can understand why it's not. There's a lot going on here. It's all even though it's made in China, there's a lot going on here, right? Personally, I would wait for a 2.0 version, right? Because I don't think a lot of those changes would be difficult to implement. But if you like this, everything you see here, you're like, no, it's good. It's perfect the way it is. I don't need a pocket clip. I like the high tension stuff. I like the way it looks. Then yeah, go for it. I think you'll really enjoy it. For everybody else, I would say no, wait. That's going to be it today. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.